This is going to be a lyrical, and it's coming from the perspective of kingdom husbands to their prodigal wives. It's like a heartfelt letter, if you will, or a heartfelt message to them from the heart. So we're going to get started. Okay, it says, "Summer's over." Okay, thank you, Jessica. It says, "Summer's over and you're still not sober." So as you guys know, the Bible tells us to be ye sober minded. So in First Peter chapter 5, verse 8, it says, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." So that line when he says summer's over and you're still not sober, he's speaking to the fact that they're still not about the Father's business. They're still not doing what the Lord has called them to do. They're still not being ye sober minded, whether that be them actually partaking in substances and getting drunk or high or anything like that, or them just not aligning with the will of God. You've been moving too fast. Now the time's moving slower. So this passage right here is actually dealing with them moving outside of God's will. They're moving too fast. You're moving beyond God. Um, you're moving outside of God's will. You're moving too fast. You're not doing what he's telling you to do. You're doing what you want to do. And they're starting to reflect. So when he says now the time's moving slower, now that they have time, or now that they have taken the time to really sit down and reflect on everything that they have done, they're starting to really think about their actions. I'm still on the line when they turn the lights on. So that I'm still on the line, that speaks to the fact that this man, this kingdom husband, have never left his kingdom spouse, his prodigal wife, even when she was in the world. So even when she was going through her darkest moments, which became their darkest moments, since he's standing for her, he still never left her, which is why he says, I'm still on the line when they turn on the lights. We all know that Jesus represents that light. So in John chapter 8, verse 12, it says, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So I'm still on the line when they turn on the lights. So he's been there for this prodigal wife through the good and the bad. Even in her darkest moments, he never left. He never left her off to dry, never left her alone. And when they turn on the lights, meaning when in this reflection, they're starting to wonder if they can even do it. Like, is God still there for me? Have I gone too far? Am I redeemable? So when they turn on the lights, when God's light or Jesus' light finally begins to shine upon them and she finally starts reaching out, I was there even before you got to this point. It's time to call it in. Hope I'm still on your mind. That time to call it in, guys, is the kingdom husbands surrendering their prodigal wives. Okay, that time to call it in means it's time to let go and let God. They're surrendering the promise to God. I hope I'm still on your mind. They're simply wanting to know, do you think about me? Am I on your mind? While you're out there in the world, is there ever a piece of you in your heart that thinks, I wonder what he's doing, I wonder how he's feeling, or that is even considering the kingdom husband's feelings? It says, Don Julio tastes like water on your lips. So we all know Don Julio is alcohol, or sometimes it's better known as spirits. So when he says Don Julio tastes like water on your lips, we all know that there's a Bible verse that say, taste and see that the Lord is good. When they say that, they're talking about the word of God, okay? So when he says Don Julio tastes like water on your lips, we all know a person, or at least I know a person, especially growing up, that would get drunk and make promises and not remember it the next day. It's almost like when somebody is intoxicated or full of something, they're not in their right mind. So they can tell you anything. It's almost like being possessed with a spirit. When someone is drunk, they're not in their right mind. They're intoxicated. So when he says, Don Julio tastes like water on your lips, she's speaking. The prodigal wives are speaking. and it sounds good to them, but they know that it's really the liquor talking, it's really the sin, it's really the enemy talking, it's really deceitful words that are coming from their lips. You had one too many trips trying to run away from home. So in these two verses, when he says you had one too many trips trying to run away from home, he's talking about the fact that this prodigal wife has made many mistakes and poor decisions. Now, the trying to run away from home is like the prodigal son, right? The prodigal son left, got his inheritance early, blew his money, was hungry, sleeping in pig pens, no place to stay before he decided to come back to the father. So this you had too many trips trying to run away from home. That's not just running from the kingdom husbands, that's running from the husbands and God. It says they like Miami where she lived. Miami is a city full of nightlife, full of drinking, partying, doing drugs. So when he said they like Miami where she lived, he's speaking to the environment that she's in. Wherever she's at, she's literally in and of the world. On a Sunday, getting lit. Instead of worshiping God, the prodigal wife is indulging in sin. The one day, which we should be worshiping every day, giving time to our Father every day. But on the one day that's really dedicated to God or set aside for God, she's instead indulging in sin. I pray you make it back. The kingdom husbands are praying that their wives can be saved. Because when September comes around and the leaves are falling down and October's closing in, it's getting scary when November ends. These kingdom's husbands are sitting here, guys, and they're noticing that month after month is passing by. Here we are in September, October closing in. It's getting scary when November ends. They are noticing that the time is passing by, and they are worried that their wives are not going to return. They're worried that it's going to be too late. It says, I'm trying to catch you for your heart turns. December cold, freezing cold. So they are wanting to get through to these kingdom wives. They're wanting the breakthrough to take place before they feel like the prodigal wife's heart completely hardens. Your temperature's low. So we know when he's talking about temperature in this verse, when he say your temperature is low, he's referring or liking the temperature to being spiritually depleted. Okay. So Matthew chapter 4, verse 4 tells us, for man does not live on bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. So when he says your temperature is running low, he's saying you've been out in the world for so long and so detached from God for so long that your spirit is being depleted. You're running on empty. I'm standing at the door. I want to love you. Just like the prodigal son returned home and returned back to the father, the kingdom husbands are waiting on their prodigal wives' return, and they're willing to love them back to the Lord, back to themselves. They're willing to fill them up and to make them whole again, to complete them before you get below zero. Like I said, guys, they're wanting to do this before they feel like they run out of time, before they feel like their prodigal wives will be completely gone. Baby, it's going to take some time to get it out your system. So they know when these prodigal wives do return back to them, they already have an understanding that they're going to come with residue from the world. They're going to come with worldly views. They're going to come, hopefully, um, to get it out of your system. That might even be, guys, we're all grown. That might even be something that maybe these wives have contracted while they're out there, some type of STI or STD, just something that they bring back with them from the world. But again, he says, baby, is going to take some time to get it out of your system. He knows that when she comes back and when she returns, she's still going to be dealing with pride, maybe ego, maybe some lust, some things of the world, but he's still willing to hang in there with her. It says all that partying deep in clubs, but you losing your rhythm. All that partying deep in clubs, but you're losing your rhythm. So the husbands know that these wives have been in some places and done some things, but they're starting to fall out of love with that lifestyle. When he says you're losing your rhythm, they're losing the want to be in that lifestyle. It's not fun anymore, guys. What appeals for, like, even when you lay down with somebody that you have no connection with, that you're just sharing your body with, you might have pleasure in that couple minutes or however long it takes, but after you get up from engaging in that moment, you're empty again. They're losing their rhythm. They're losing their fulfillment that they used to get from being in the world. Too much late nights. You don't know where the morning is. So these prodigal wives have been experiencing sleepless nights and don't know if God still hears them or has left them. Okay, because we know that the morning, the light represents Jesus. They don't know if God still hears them or if he has left them. Better wake up before you lose out on this. So Romans chapter 13, verses 11 through 12. And do this, understanding the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. The night is nearly over. The day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. Okay, guys. So when it says better wake up before you lose out on this, we all know that the night is nearly over. There's a time coming, and that time is here when God is done playing. God is done playing, okay? He's given even his children free reign to go out there, get their feet wet and everything else, and come on home, repent, come out from in the world. He's calling you to be separate, to come out of the world, to be set apart. It's the same thing for the prodigals. And this portion actually goes either for the prodigal wives or the prodigal husbands. Night is nearly over. Wickedness, the enemy, his time is almost up. The day is almost here. Not only is the day like the sunlight, the sunshine, Jesus, but the day is almost here for Jesus' return. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. So he's saying your time is almost up. Your time is almost up. You better wake up before you lose out on this. So he's not only talking about salvation, but he's talking about the marriage promise as well. And it says, and I ain't got no pride. I ain't got no pride to save you. Oh, my woman. He's crying out. This man is crying out to his prodigal wife. He says, I ain't got no pride to save you, oh, prodigal woman. He knows that he cannot do it alone, and he's pleading with his prodigal wife at this time. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 tells us, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And it is not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. I'm going to read that again. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not from yourselves, it is a gift from God. So when he says, I have no pride, it will be prideful and egotistical, guys, to think that he alone could save this prodigal wife. He knows that he cannot do it by himself. So when he says, I ain't got no pride to save you, I, in my right mind, know that I cannot save you, nor am I going to put anything in my head that would remotely resemble me thinking or acknowledging or even trying to put my best foot forward to do it on my own, because I know that I cannot. And when he says, oh, my woman, that's like a woe. That's a plea to his wife. I just want you inside to give you all my loving. He wants his prodigal wife to come into alignment with the will of God so that she can experience true love that can only be given through God. He has made this woman in the image from the rib of this man. He is everything that she needs. He has created her for him, like he created the man for her. He meshed them together as one. So everything that she thinks that she's getting out from in the world, whether that be love, affection, or whatever she's seeking, God has that for her in this man. You're losing your soul, but you call it soul searching. These wives, and I would say that this goes for prodigal men as well as the prodigal women or wives, they do not realize that they are being deceived by the enemy. They think they're soul searching. They think that, oh, the universe has what I need. Let me go study this religion. Let me go, dive into the crystals or the divination. No, they are losing themselves, letting the enemy tell them that they're actually finding themselves, but they're getting further from who God has created them to be because they're getting further away from him. And the back page, guys, repeats itself and it says, oh, I'm losing hope because all the Don Julio tastes like water on your lips. Again, they want to believe what their prodigal wives are saying, but they know it's the alcohol talking. They know that they are being consumed and used by the enemy. You had one too many trips trying to run away from home. They've lied too many times. They've done too many things. They've made a lot of mistakes trying to run from these kingdom husbands and from God. They like Miami where she lived, whatever environment she is in, whatever she's partaking in, wherever she's at, whoever she's with. They like the nightlife. They like to party. She's in bad company and is corrupting good character. On a Sunday, getting lit. Again, when she should be spending time with God, she's spending it in the streets. I pray you make it back. He's praying for her. Because when September comes around and the leaves are falling down and October's closing in, it's getting scary when November ends. I'm trying to catch you before your heart turns December cold, freezing cold. Your temperature's low. I'm standing at the door. I want to love you before you get below zero. December cold, freezing cold. Your temperature's low. I'm standing at the door. I want to love you before you get below zero. God, guys, this kingdom husband is really pouring his heart out for his prodigal wife. And he's saying, I'm praying for you. I'm trying to reach you so that you may receive me and receive the promise, receive God before your heart hardens, before he deems it to be too late. He's giving you to God, prodigal, placing you, the promise, on the altar, trusting God to deliver you back to him. He is waiting for you, ready to love you, hoping it's not too late. So to the both of you guys, to the kingdom husband and to the prodigal and to the kingdom wives and to the prodigal husband, it is not too late. It is not too late, okay? When God does a thing, we all know that God is a God of the 11th hour miracle, okay? God will make it seem like you're right on your last leg, and right before you get up, he will bring it to fruition, okay? They're never too late, okay? So Joel chapter 2, verses 12 through 13. Even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. Okay? It's some things that you can only be delivered from and that your spouse can only be delivered from fasting. Okay? So if this is something that you yourself have been trying to get delivered from, or your spouse have been trying to get delivered from, or you have been praying for, you might need to go on a fast. Seek the Lord on what type of fast to do, because it might not be something real extravagant where he's saying, oh, go on a 30-day fast. You might need to go on a 3-day fast, but consult with the Father. But it says, even now, declares the Lord, return to me with all your heart, with fasting and weeping and mourning. Cry out to him, guys. Rend your heart and not your garments. Return, Lord, your God. Return to the Lord your God, for he is gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and abounding in love. And he relents from sending calamity. He does not want you to perish. He gets no joy from you or your spouse perishing. Okay? This thing will come together. It's just going to take a minute, and he's ironing out the kinks. And like I said, and like this lyrical said, even when these prodigals return, whether it be the prodigal wife or the prodigal husbands, they're still going to return with some residue. When he said, I know it's going to take a minute to get out of your system, we've had the people that God woke up first, the kingdom husbands and the kingdom wives that God woke up first. And I was talking to a sister in Christ, a best friend of mine about this, a sister of mine about this. He woke us up, some of us years ahead of our spouses, months ahead of our spouses. We've had time, we've had boot camp, okay? We've had training. We've been tempted and we've been tried so we can stand our ground. They're getting pulled freshly from the world. So there's still going to be some residue on them. They're going to return with some lust. They're going to return with some pride and with some ego. But just know that the Lord is still working on them with that, guys. And just trust him with it. You know, it's not above crying out to the Lord about it, but just like in here, when he said it's time to call it in, this guy is acknowledging the fact that it's time to call on the Lord. We cannot do this thing in our own strength, guys, nor are we supposed to. You tire yourself out trying to do something on your own, trying to carry a burden alone that you were never meant to carry alone. Call out to God, place your spouse on the altar, trusting that he's going to give them back at the appropriate time, guys. Okay, so stay in prayer. Pray for one another. Pray for your husbands. Pray for your wives, your spouses, and know that he is doing it, okay? That he's not going to bring you through everything, to everything, not to perform his word. He did not make empty promises, guys. So just stay encouraged and know that he's doing it, and that he has you, and that he has them first and foremost. They belong to him before he even told you who they were to you. He's not going to let his children, his child, not make it to what he has for them. This is too important to not let it play out. Like, this is not only about us, guys. Like, it's about nations. It's about people getting delivered. It's about the souls that are attached to us in these unions. So he's going to perform his word, but he also has to allow your spouse a chance to be delivered. You cannot, we are birthing these promises. He cannot let the baby be born prematurely. It's going to have all kind of health problems and deformities and defects. You don't want that in your marriage. So he's doing it at his own pace and his own time, guys, so that by the time they come back, like, yes, they're getting nudges from him. They're feeling a push to get into position, and they're being called out by him. But also he's allowing them to have that chance to choose him and to choose you, so that when they come back, they standing firm on the fact that they are choosing to be there. That way they know without a shadow of a doubt whose they are, who you are, and what you are to him as a union. And they're not going to want nobody else or nothing else when they come back. They've had it all. They've seen it all. They've seen it all. They partake in it all. There's not going to be nothing out there that appeals to them by the time God brings them back. And if they shall have a little residue on them, give them some grace, give them some mercy, and take it to God. Anything that they might do, anything that they might say, take it to God and continue to pray on it, and know that it's not your spouse. It's the enemy working on and through your spouse. And we know that the weapons will form, but they will not prosper. There is nobody or nothing greater than God. Okay, guys? So stay encouraged. I pray that this locates who it's for, because like I said, this is a letter or a heartfelt message from the kingdom's husband's perspective to the prodigal wife. So if there's any prodigals out there, or if you happen to be a kingdom husband that's going through this, feel free to send this message to your wife so that she hears this. But be encouraged, guys. God has it and he has you. Okay? I'm going to be praying for you all. You all have a wonderful night, and just stay in prayer and stay encouraged.